That was Jimmy Buffett with Margaritaville. Your time now 9:08 this Thursday morning, and we have a special Gov Talk program this morning with your host, Benny Pulley, filling in for Scott Johnson. Today's guest is Dr. Tammy Garrett of the Bedford County School System. Benny, take it away.
All right, this is Benny Pulley, behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting. I'm here with Dr. Tammy Garrett, who is the superintendent of the Bedford County School System. And we talked a little bit before we got in here, but we're getting a lot of, I guess you call it, threats, school threats in the school system. And a lot of them, of course, are hoax, but that we all need to take them seriously. So can you give us some updates on that?
Yes, it is happening really across the state and across the nation. I have been at a superintendent meeting, and all the superintendents had been experiencing this. So one of the things, we take all threats seriously.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And Bedford County Sheriff's Department takes those seriously, and they fully investigate all threats. We had one that was not a credible threat with Central this week that we have been dealing with. They have investigated that. One of the things that the governor has put into place, it's been a great help to us, is we have access to a Homeland Security agent, and that person also gets involved in any threats. But these hoax threats, they really cost the law enforcement and the school system a lot of time and resources. So I would ask the parents to make sure that they tell these students. It does not help if they see one and they post it on social media. If a student or a parent has a possible threat, they need to go to the nearest adult at the school and the law enforcement agencies at any time of night. Sometimes the parents will get these at night and then tell the school in the morning. What I encourage them to do is go ahead and call law enforcement that night so they can work on it through the night.
Yeah.
Because Chief Deputy has called me many times in the middle of the night where they are working on a case, or the Homeland Security agent calls working on a case. We will work those through the night. So I would encourage those students, do not post those on social media and say, hey, I heard this or whatever. That costs a lot of time for law enforcement. Yeah. They have to go through those, and we take those seriously. And those students are being disciplined if they do that, because it causes a lot of anxiety for a lot of other students and parents. So go to law enforcement. Every school has an SRO.
Yes.
Go to the principal or the teacher. That is who you go to. Let's not rely on social media. Let's rely on those that are trained the most in dealing with these.
To social media, we all love social media, but a lot of times social media is just a lot of hype. They do it to get attention, and they spread rumors. Some of them are real, some of them are not. But just don't be posting stuff on social media. It's just not a good idea.
Yes,
and it gets all the parents, the teachers, everybody upset. They worry. Why would you want to come to school if you know somebody's going to be there?
Exactly. And it causes a lot of anxiety, especially with the school shooting in Georgia. But we will take these seriously. We always have SROs on site. At some schools, we have 2.
Right.
And so we will have those folks, and we have parades. For homecoming, so we have extra officers there anyway for that. So we will have that. And we have disciplined kids. The governor and the legislature put in place and added this as a zero tolerance offense.
Right.
If you have a mass threat against the school, if you say, I'm going to shoot up school, you will be expelled from school.
Yeah.
We do not play with that. You're not going to say that. So I encourage parents to have conversations with their kids and say, hey, do not say these things because you will be expelled.
Yeah, and people don't take it, like you say, don't take it seriously, and it can be a serious offense.
Yes,
because,
it can.
Anytime you threaten the life of anybody, it's a serious offense.
Yes, and every student and teacher and employee deserves to go to school and be safe every day. Yeah. And that is my number one goal, is to make sure all of our students, all of our employees go home to their families every night. Yeah. And I take that seriously, and it weighs on my heart and my head every day, and I know the police department does too.
Oh yeah,
and they are passionate about it.
I know. Jan Phillips, I talked to him some on the show, but I know he has his officers stop by the local city schools and go in just to...
They do. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have a great force of school resource officers.
Right.
They are excellent. They take it seriously. They are so passionate about the safety of the students and the staff. And I appreciate the governor for allowing us funding to have those school resource officers.
You know, it is great to be able to know that you have an SRO there in that location. And how do they determine whether they get one or two? Is it by the amount of kids in that school?
Yes, we have 2 at Harris Middle School, which has close to 1,000 students, and 1,600 students at Shoville Central. We have 2 there as well.
Well, that's good. That's good. So get off the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go to some good stuff.
Sounds good.
All right. So Cartwright Elementary, I was at the grand opening when y'all did the ribbon cutting. I had to stay for just a little while, and then I had to leave because we had a show. But I know it's pre-K through 5th grade, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me, how's that going? How many students did they get? And, what's going on there?
We expected about 550.
Okay.
We have about 650.
Oh, wow.
It's growing every day. So we can take up to about 800 in that school. It has gone so well. It's a beautiful facility. The staff that Miss Yost has assembled is excellent. And the traffic, I've been out there, and it is very smooth. We studied that quite a bit as to getting those cars off that Fairfield Pike.
Yeah.
And so we have witnessed that, and the architects did a good job on that plan.
That's good, because I know of course, my kids went to Cascade in the elementary part. My grandkids went there for a while, and now they're already in high school. But coming down that road, buddy, both sides of the road, you can't get by hardly. It's just one lane. If you're going to go around them, you have to go down the middle of the lane to get by them.
Well, those we have a loop where you can come off and you stack them 2 or 3 deep, and so they're now out on Fairfield Pike waiting. So it's been
It really makes a difference.
It does.
Yeah, because you think over there they finally figure out a way of doing it. I know they probably got plans of doing it, but it's people don't realize how traffic can be at one of those big schools like that.
Yes.
But the way they're handling it and the way they designed it, because I seen the plan, how they done it, and I thought it was ingenious, being able to pull them off the main traffic and not block the traffic coming in on the things.
Yeah, and the way they sit. If you think about Community Elementary and Cascade Elementary, they sit close to the road.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this one's back off the road, so it gives you room to bring those cars off the road, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
And back years ago, everybody rode the bus. Now, a lot of people riding cars to school, so that makes a difference too.
Yeah. Now, a little bit about. I know are we all fully out of portables now?
We are not fully out of portables.
How close are we?
We're very close.
Okay.
Once we get Liberty out, we should be able to rezone a little bit of Southside and put them at Liberty, because we'll have more space. And Liberty, some of their middle schools currently in portables. So hopefully when we have Liberty finished, then we will be out of that ball game.
Out of the portable business. Yeah, I know. I've went to school with portables, and you felt like you were separated from the rest of the school. I mean, as a kid, I thought, gosh, I got to go out there, that portable, and then you got to run back in if it's raining. Get soaking wet to go to your other class.
If the wind gets up, you're going in.
Yeah, exactly. So Thomas and Liberty are having a little expansion problems, right? Y'all are trying to take care of all that.
We have expanded Thomas through the 8th grade. This is the first year for the 8th graders there, so we needed more room. So we're building 4 classrooms on the Thomas, and also we're renovating one of their current classrooms to be a restroom for that middle school area of the school. So that should be ready in December, and then Liberty should be ready to go in January. So looking forward to that. And at Liberty, we have 10 classrooms, a set of restrooms there, as well as an assistant principal's office. So
that's good. Now, about roughly how many students do you have at Liberty and how many at Thomas?
At Thomas, I think we have about 350 to 375. At Liberty, I think we probably have about 300 in the middle school, and then the elementary probably about 300 more, so about 600 I think out there.
Now, And of course, y'all are always trying to do things to get ahead, and you always have your school board meetings to make sure you get everything organized like you want it. What is going on that? I know you're having one tonight, I think you said.
We are having one tonight. We don't have a huge agenda tonight. We have several bids on the agenda tonight. Okay. One of the things we do have going on tonight, we have a grading policy. The state changed one of the grading policies to, sometimes folks would say, hey, don't give anybody less than a 50 or nobody earns less than 60. Well, the legislature took care of that. So they say if the 61. Teachers want to give them a 0, they can give them a 0.
Oh,
if you get a 0, you get a 0. So we need to change our policy to reflect that.
Okay.
Because some people used to do that to say, hey, you want to give them a shot, but then other people in their philosophy say, no, if you earned a 0, you earned a 0.
Yeah.
So the state took care of that, so we will change that, and if they earn a 0, that's what they'll get.
Yeah, I'd heard, I don't know where we heard it, but they said a lot of them, the lowest grade they can make was a 61.
Yes.
And I remember in school I made some 50s. So, I think they ought to, but it makes, and if you do get something like that, it makes them work harder if they really want to get ahead.
Yes.
To try to improve.
Yeah.
And if I made a 50 on it, I said, I don't want to be a 50, so then you work a little harder on studying it to get a 70 or 80, whatever you could get, so. But yeah, usually the board meetings are like they do. Do they usually go over like the bids, like if y'all are doing a construction deal, or if you're having issues like as far as you want to change policy? That's all taken care of at the board meeting.
School board does anything related to policy, budget. They hire a superintendent, and they also do the strategic plan, any capital projects and things. Okay. So that is one thing that we've been working through. We'll be having another work session coming up. Hopefully we can come up with a date on that tonight at our school board meeting, and we are putting together a plan, a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan for capital projects.
Okay.
Then we could send that, if the board is in agreement with what we want to do, we send that to the commission, because the board plans the buildings based on projections of enrollment, and then the county commission funds the facilities for the school system.
Okay. Now, we was talking earlier, so about how many students do y'all have on a yearly basis that come in extra above what you already have? And you told me roughly about 9,100 students, is that correct?
Yes.
So how many do we have extra that come in every year?
Here lately, in the last 3 years, we've been doing like 100 to 120.
Okay.
We are considered a fast-growing district according to the state, because we have been growing over 2% a year. If you're over 2% growth a year, you're considered a fast-growing district.
Right. And as we grow, of course, that's why the strategic planning is available. We're trying to get more schools ready for the students that are going to be coming through, right?
Yes, we want to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
We do not want to get in a situation where we're in portables again.
Yeah.
Because it's not a great learning environment for your students. It's not a safe environment for your students.
Especially storms.
Yes, storms, and the doors are just so flimsy to get in. They're not very secure.
Oh, yeah.
And so we want to keep them in brick and mortar buildings. So we want to plan ahead. A couple of things that we are going to have to look at is high school. Shelbyville Central is about out of space.
Oh, I know, yeah.
So we will have to look at that down the road. I think we've got to look at Southside and Eastside. They're two of our oldest buildings. And Southside in particular, the electrical and plumbing is not going to withstand many more years.
Yeah.
And so we feel that one of the things that we have been talking through as a board is, could we build a new school building on that site?
Yeah.
Enough land. So, so we'll be talking about that, as well as, looking at how do we relieve this high school situation.
Right.
And we've got land at Liberty. If it's the will of the board, we could, as part of our plan, maybe we could build out there. So we still got to talk through those things, and look forward to really collaborating with our board. We have a talented board with many skills, and look forward to putting together a plan so we could take it to the commission and see what we can do as a community.
Well, that'd be good. Well, we're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll let Mr. Chase take care of that.
Isn't it time you had a good night's sleep? People at their best get their beauty rest with a personalized Simmons Beauty Rest sleep experience from Kincaid's, who's always been your hometown source for top-notch customer care. From inner spring and plush to the luxurious Beauty Rest Harmony Collection, featuring pocketed coil technology designed to restore your sleep with individualized support. Call Kincaid's at 931-684-5662 and get your Beauty Rest with impressive selection of Simmons Beauty Rest mattresses today.
At Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care, they strive to bring you excellence. Their family-friendly atmosphere makes going to the doctor a breeze. They provide their patients with in-depth eye exams with same-day glasses, a wide selection of name-brand frames like Ray-Ban, Versace, Coach, and more. They also have contact lenses and are able to treat ocular diseases and eye injuries. Need an eye exam? Trust Dr. Hasty and Family Eye Care, located at 605 North Main Street in Shelbyville, directly across from the U.S. Post Office. 931-684-2020.
All right, this is Benny Pulley, behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting. I'm here with Dr. Tammy Garrett, Superintendent of Schools for Bedford County, and we've been talking about different things dealing with schools and how I talked to her earlier about careers in the tech school and all this stuff, and you were telling me that they've went back to middle school now and started helping them. So give me a little information on that.
Yes, the governor had an innovative school models grant that we took advantage of, $500,000 for each middle school, so we can let the middle school students explore different occupations. So by the time they get in high school, they know what path they want to explore even deeper. Okay. So we have taken our money and bought what we call Paxton Patterson Labs. And with those labs, it's a 10-week program in which they can explore. Maybe there are like dogs that you can practice being a veterinarian. They're like fake arms. You can practice being a nurse, taking blood pressure and doing IVs. You can build things. There are all kinds of different occupations, and you go through these different centers and labs and explore that, so you can kind of see, hey, I'm really good at this, or I really like that. Yeah. And what we try to do is do a lot of high demand, high wage jobs, and so they could explore that. That is what the state wants us to do. They want you to offer those programs that students will be able to get a job. HVAC technicians. I know I've had to pay some of those recently.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Plumbing.
That's like a computer guru.
Electrician. Oh, yeah. You know, all of those things that we can explore, and then they don't have to wait until they get in high school to start exploring. Yeah. Because you may get through your freshman, sophomore year and think, hey, I don't like that too much. I want to try something different. And what we really want to do is by the time they get to be a senior, we want them to be able to work in the field. We've done some of that. We have one in our communications department, a student. We had one last year, and she's going to college now. Okay, cool. In mass communications. So if we start early, they can explore different things. By the time they get in high school, we want them earning industry certifications, getting hands-on experiences, and really around the technical field, because at some point we swapped where everyone would go to college. Everyone's not made to go to college. No. If you don't have a 21 on your ACT, that is an indicator that may not be the path for you. Or if it is a path, you're going to have to take some remedial courses. Yeah. So let's get around the technical field, TCAT, and some of these places and say, this is a great option. You can come out of there making $80,000, $90,000
Yeah, I know, and
a
lot of people think that, I mean, when I was coming up, it was, go to college, and then get a good job, go to college. Well, I went. My dad wanted me to be a doctor, so, of course, 3.5 years of pre-med, and I didn't want to be no doctor. By the time I got out, I decided to go do business, because I was raised in the motel restaurant business, so it was a great field for me, but the doctoring part, with all the labs, biology, 3 hours of lab, and I'm going, that's just not for me.
I got it.
So, but I wish they would we had a few programs. When I graduated from York up in East Tennessee, they had like a welding They had a body shop. They did a farming program because they have, I think, the largest farm. They're a 400-acre farm that they have on the premises. So there was a lot of that taught. I wish I had took one of those programs.
Yes.
And then I would have probably, but my dad wanted me to concentrate on getting into college to be a doctor, and I just didn't want to do it. But anyway, I ended up in the radio business. Can you imagine?
Well, you took a great path.
But anyway, I know we was talking about security and threats, and then we talked about Cartwright. Now, Cartwright is one of the premier schools, and I know y'all did a lot of safety upgrades on that. Can you give us a little idea how that is working, and what are y'all planning to do for some of the other schools?
Yes, it is working very well. One of the big things that we did that research shows, and like the FBI and all these people study school shootings, so they know what keeps kids safe. So one of the number one things that keeps kids and adults and employees safe in the building, lockable locks that lock from the inside.
Right.
Because your fingers don't work as well if you're under stress. And the older locks, you had to go into the hallway, lock the door from the hallway. So that was causing some people to not be safe.
Right.
And so we had made an investment with a third party. They came in, and every one of our doors through the system now lock from the inside.
Okay.
So the teachers and staff and students can lock those doors quickly and get in a corner where they are safe.
Yeah.
And so that was a big thing. So we did that. The next thing are vestibules. Like when you come into, like you're locked in Cartwright, you have a set of doors, another set of doors. You have to go into the office.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not where you can just get in the school and go anywhere you want.
Right.
And so we are going to make an investment in that. And so the school board has already approved that. We are in the design phase of that. So every school that we have will have those vestibules that are secure, that you will have to go through several doors to be able to get to the office for them to know. We run the license.
Okay.
If you are a sex offender, it will alert. I get an alert if somebody tries to get in the school.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, someone that's not, that we wouldn't want around kids, it will alert you.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of those features. Also, we have the ability at Cartwright with a push of a button to lock every door in there down.
Okay.
And so all of those features, also bullet resistant film on all the glass.
The windows and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because I know I've seen on some of them that the main entrance is usually through the front door, and they'll try to bust the glass and get in through there. So y'all put the bulletproof ones. That sort of keeps it from shattering and where they can get in.
And these new vestibules we're doing will all have those on them as well. So
that's good. We
want our students to be safe. That's one of the very important things, and we have invested the money in that.
Well, it's hard. I guess you would really say it's hard for kids to learn when they're scared.
Yes.
And afraid that something. When you have the security in place, and you got the SROs there, you've done the outside work where it's going to be hard for them to enter in. So you've done all the things so it will keep them safe, so they shouldn't be as scared, because I know as a young kid, 2 or 3, second, third grade, that they're worried, they're scared, they don't want to stay home because they're afraid something's going to happen. But with all this security we're taking, it's going to be helpful for them.
Yes, we want them safe. And this week I went to a superintendent conference. One of the things that they said, that reason we're having some extreme behaviors and things like this is the impact from COVID, where students didn't have socialization for almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And academically, we've caught up, but we still got some work to do with mental health and social emotional learning and that behavioral side.
Right.
So we're studying that. What can we do to get some things in place? We have partnered with a lot of outside agencies. This year we worked with Communities in Schools. They put mental health workers in Cascade Middle School and Community Middle School. What we find is that middle school age probably has the most behaviors, most mental health issues is at that middle school level. So we've tried to put some counselors and therapists in place to help those students before it becomes a problem.
You know, and used to, of course, when I went to school, we had guidance counselors that you could go and talk to, which helped. And a lot of people don't realize that when the kid goes to school, they might have family problems at home. There might be some domestic violence. There might be some kind of issue that they're having. And a lot of times they will take it out on other students as a way of, dealing with it for themselves. And so that has to be talked about. And if you can get those people in at that time, I think it would really help the students, because they are, it is under stress. I know, of course, I came from a home at one time that was pretty domestic violence, and you were scared. You're scared when what you do, and when you go home, you're afraid something's going to happen, with your mother or something. But of course, he straightened himself out and got straight before the end of his life. But that's stuff that you go through and live in your mind, and you don't want the kids, because a lot of times they're feeling that pressure from the home life, that they got to relieve it somehow, and they want to take it out on somebody or be mean to somebody because of that. And that's where the mental health part comes in.
You got to get to the root cause of it.
Right.
I heard, I have a great mental health coordinator, Lindsay Wiley, and I heard her talking to a student with me the other day. And the student, I told her, I said, hey, you're going to have to go back to counseling. And she said, I don't want to go back to counseling. And I heard Miss Wiley say something that really impacted me. She said, hey, that work is hard. That's why you don't want to do it, because it's hard to revisit some of those things that maybe happened to you or you saw in the home. That's hard work.
It is.
But we don't heal unless we go there and visit it with a trained person.
Yeah, and and that's the case, with our veterans, PTSD, of course, they've got to talk about it to get out of the problem. And it's just like anybody that has a problem. If they got a drug problem, alcohol problem, don't make no difference. They've got to talk to those people to help them get out of that issue. Something is causing the root problem, like you said, and so you've got to fix it.
Absolutely. And trained people know how to help us fix it, and coping skills. We've got to learn some coping skills, and we've got to teach some of those. Many times maybe they're not taught at home, that we have to teach those, and we have some research-based programs to help us to do that. So we're trying our best, putting things in place to be able to advance our school system and learn. We've made a lot of great progress in our academics. We've been able to increase our reading scores. We had some significant gains in our math scores, and we have some phenomenal educators who work hard every day. And I think right now I have the best set of principals. We have some fantastic principals in the school system who work hard every day, and staff, central office. We have a great staff, and I'm blessed to be surrounded by them every day.
Good people. When you as they say, to build a good system, you have to be surrounded by good people.
Absolutely. Yes.
And the students, I think one thing that I've found over, of course, my grandsons have been to Cascade, and they seem to have taught them, yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, teaching them manners to respect their elders and stuff. And it sort of makes you feel good that there's still people out there that do that.
Yes.
And I think that's the key, and kindness to other people.
Absolutely.
And I think that's
matters.
the key.
It does. It really does. And I think this is my 29th year in education, and I have been blessed to be surrounded by educators. They are some of the kindest people with just hearts of gold.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you have people that, just like anything, make
they want
bad
to abuse
decisions
the system.
and things like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's to be surrounded by those folks every day and get to work in that. It just makes me so grateful that I got to experience
that. Well, we got about a minute or two left because we started a little late. So have you got anything else that you would like to bring up about things that are going on? Or
we're in the middle of football season, and get out and see those Friday night
lights. Yes,
There's
sir.
nothing like it. And we're doing a lot of great things and trying to upgrade some of our facilities and our athletic facilities, and that's a great thing for kids to learn, be in athletics, to be in the band, to be in plays.
Yeah, anytime you take on an extra activity outside of the school part, like football, basketball, any kind of drama or any of that, that's extra and above what you're doing in school. That's always accredited, for people to know that you're taking part in other stuff.
And keep those students busy. I encourage parents to let students participate in those things.
Yeah.
Because it keeps them, off the computer and off social media and doing something productive.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think one of the worst things we ever did was to get a computer, and it can be helpful now, but it caused a lot of issues with, especially now since you got the social media and the Facebooks and the TikToks and all this. There's so much bitterness and they fighting all the time, and I try to, I'm on it, but I just try not to get involved in those political type conversations or religious conversations. You just try to stay out of it because there's so many people's opinions, My opinion is just as good as yours, but it just, you just can't keep doing that.
I understand.
And that's where a lot of those social threats that you were talking about come from.
They do. But let's get them involved in productive things and keep them busy.
Yeah, tomorrow night, 6:45, we'll be live with Central Football here, Cascade over on the other station. So we're looking forward to it. Enjoy carrying the sports and helping everybody out. I want to thank Dr. Tammy Garrett for the Bedford County Superintendent of Schools. Glad to have her with us. Scott Johnson, of course, being sick, he's got COVID, I understand. He's not feeling too good, but I'm filling in for him. But we want to thank y'all for tuning in and tune in to us next week. And tomorrow, matter of fact, I think I'm supposed to interview the governor. The governor? No, it's Chad Graham. I got to give him the big head. All right, Chase, thank you.
At Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care, they strive to bring you excellence. Their family-friendly atmosphere makes going to the doctor a breeze. They provide their patients with in-depth eye exams with same-day glasses, a wide selection of name-brand frames like Ray-Ban, Versace, Coach, and more. They also have contact lenses and are able to treat ocular diseases and eye injuries. Need an eye exam? Trust Dr. Hasty and Family Eye Care located at 605 North Main Street in Shelbyville, directly across from the U.S. Post Office, 931-684-2020.
Hey, listen up. Kincaid's is currently having a big closeout sale on all furniture. Take advantage of deals on a huge inventory of name brands like Flex Steel, Jackson, Catnapper, Ashley, Ardent Home, and so much more. It's time to stop by Kincaid's and shop the huge inventory during their big closeout sale while supplies last. Buy local with Kincaid's, offering financing and free local delivery. Located on the Kincaid corner on Madison Street in Shelbyville. Kincaid Service Company, where service is their middle name.